Hey good people, and welcome back to the channel. Now if you've been watching this season of Married at First Sight, then I think we all may share the same thoughts, in that this season's going to be another hot mess. But after posting my most recent review, I was asked to further explain my feelings regarding Stacia and Nate. So this video will take a deeper dive into what we as the viewing audience have learned about Stacia and Nate, why I feel that they have no chance of working out, and what we as fans of the show could learn from Stacia and Nate. Now I must warn you all ahead of time that some of my views regarding this couple may be brutally honest, so if you find yourself disagreeing with anything that I say, feel free to leave your comment in the comment section and we'll have a friendly debate about it. But outside of that, feel free to sit back, relax, and take a trip down the rabbit hole. Now before the start of the season, when I initially saw Stacia and Nate's wedding pictures, my initial reaction was that they looked really great together. Sometimes when you see Married at First Sight couples taking their wedding day pictures, you can tell that there's some level of nervousness or lack of comfort by the particular pose that the cast members are in when the camera snaps. But with Stacia and Nate, they seem to be very comfortable around each other on their wedding day. Now fast forward to the start of the San Diego season. We have the opportunity to hear Stacia's backstory as to what led her to sign up for Married at First Sight, and I gotta be honest, the story that she shared was somewhat alarming, and unfortunately, a number of women in America share the same story. Stacia reveals that she spent the better part of her young adult life focusing on getting her education, reaching the peak of her career, and building generational wealth, which is very admirable. But as a result of how Stacia moved, she is currently approaching 40 years old, has no kids, and she realizes that the window is starting to slowly close for her. But in my opinion, it didn't have to be this way for Stacia. In earlier episodes, she admitted that men have tried to shoot their shot with her, but she either shot them down in return, or she gives these guys the opportunity to impress her, but after she finds out about their credit score or finances, then those guys go on the chopping block, which is something that's well in her right to do, but Stacia can't blame anybody for herself for why she ended up on the show. From what has been shown to us thus far, Stacia places finding a man that is financially stable, goal-oriented, and someone who's able to get on her program as the top of her hierarchy of needs in a marriage. And again, that is within her right to do that, but by doing so, she limits her options. To all the ladies out there, allow me to paint a scenario that may help the naysayers understand where I'm coming from on this. Ladies, let's say that you're all matchmakers and I was your client, who is a single guy looking for a wife. In this search, I told you that I wanted a woman who was beautiful 24/7, who was willing to cook 3 meals a day from scratch, willing to take on the bulk of the cleaning duties, have a job to help out with the bills, be willing to have sex several times a week, and be fine with taking the lead when it comes to raising the kids. And I wouldn't settle for any woman that couldn't meet all of those standards. Come on now. I'll be willing to bet the house that most of you will look at me like I was crazy, and you will likely advise me to settle for something more realistic or just enjoy the single life. Now I think the issue with Stacia is that the people whose opinion she values essentially encourage her to be the boss lady and never settle, and it is my fear that she will carry this sense of power and entitlement into the marriage. And the second that Nate does something that she doesn't like, she will either make a completely big deal about it or she'll be ready to end the marriage. In other words, it seems like Stacia likes to be in control, and she is an alpha female, which could be problematic if she encounters a man who doesn't want to do 100% of the things that she wants him to do. Now I spent a lot of time talking about Stacia, but I got plenty of time to talk about Nate as well. Brother Nate is a few years younger than Stacia, but him being single for so long was completely his choice. Nate openly admitted to how important looks are to him. He shared a long list of crazy standards that he requires in his potential wife in order for him to be content, and while he has the right to have those standards, there simply isn't a large market of women who can meet those demands. And because most of Nate's screen time on the show revolves around how important looks are to him, one has to ask a series of questions. First, does Nate expect his girlfriend or wife to be physically attractive all the time? Will he stay committed to a woman if, or shall I say when, her looks change? And lastly, would Nate be cool with a woman who treated him the same way when it came to looks? Now I ask these questions because it is my opinion that Nate's priorities are not in the right place. Furthermore, I've been around guys like Nate for a large part of my adult life, but when I got into my 30s, I along with guys that are in the same age range started viewing potential relationships through a different lens. And no, I'm not saying that Nate should have to settle for any old woman that walks his way, but in my opinion, Nate placing physical attraction at the top of his hierarchy of needs in a marriage is a recipe for disaster. Now I gotta address this week's episode when the minister told Stacia and her family that Nate was a freak in the sheets at the wedding. I thought that was very tacky, but I do believe that Nate puts the value of sex and receiving a lot of it high on his hierarchy of needs, which is within his rights to do, of course. But one has to also wonder, is Nate going to stick around if Stacia rejects his bedroom advances, or if she doesn't give him the special attention as much as he may want? We could also address Nate's demeanor towards the stripper during the guy's bachelor party. Now, if Nate was around his close friends and the bachelor party was not videotaped for the world to see, then I could give him a pass on this behavior. But to act like that in front of a bunch of guys who he barely knows, and for the whole world to see, just speaks to his lack of maturity and awareness in a public setting. So when the experts initially matched these two cast members, the term power couple was used to describe them, mainly because they both have great careers and they make good money in those careers. So I think if their goal for marriage is to solely make babies and build wealth, then they can achieve that with ease. But if they're looking for someone to stick by their side through better or worse, and through sickness and in health, then I think both Stacia and Nate fall short of this mark. I don't think that either one of them truly has it in them to stay in the marriage for the long haul. And over the course of the last 3 episodes, we haven't really heard Stacia or Nate dig deep and talk about things like character and integrity when being matched with somebody on the show, which in my opinion is a red flag. And their spotty relationship history makes me wonder if they have the fundamental skills needed to at least stay in a healthy relationship with one another. If there's anything that we can learn from Stacia and Nate, it's this. In this country, you have the right to like what you like and want what you want. And in exercising that right, you shouldn't be shamed or belittled for moving in the direction that you want to move in. But at the end of the day, you also have to realize that there may be a shortage of the type of person that you want. And if that's the case, you can either change your approach, or you can just let the chips fall where they may and see how it works. But this marks the end of my video, and I want to know what you all think about Stacia and Nate. Do you like them as a couple? Am I wrong for the opinion that I had on them? And how long do you see them lasting? Feel free to leave your comments on the video, and I'll be sure to reply to each and every one. Also, if you like the breakdown that I had on Stacia and Nate, and you want me to do detailed breakdown videos on the other couples, then let me know and I'll see if I can work my magic. Until next time, stay tuned and stay safe. Peace.